Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today is January 13th, 2016. The major headline this morning is the release of these U.S. sailors who were detained for a day by Iran. This headline, no doubt, will give people memories of the Iranian hostage crisis, which was a hoax, which I have covered well. And to prove that that was a hoax and that this is another publicity stunt meant to remind us of it, you have to go to the language of gematria and numerology. Let me take you back in time, Truth Seeker. The Iranian hostage crisis began November 4th, 1979, a date with 113 numerology. That event lasted 444 days. It began when Jimmy Carter was the president, who's from the fourth state, Georgia, one of three with a gematria of 44. Fourth state, gematria of 44, 444-day Iranian hostage crisis that ended on the first day of President Reagan's term, who came in as the 33rd governor. Think about the Freemasons and the number 33, their number of obsession. The branch of Freemasonry that dominates the United States government and other governments of the world, as well as the media, is Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Scottish equals 113, just like mainstream, just like dishonest, just like perjury, just like green screen. Iran hostage crisis also has gematria of 86 and 113. No coincidence. 86, an important number as well. Words such as symbol, triangle, and pyramid equal 86. It's a symbolic moment in our nation's history. And here they're giving us another one. And think about it in this way. Last night, the headlines were that this situation, as well as the Turkey bombing, were overshadowing Obama's State of the Union. Now, Obama went before the nation and told everybody that, we're safe, there's no real terrorist threat, we have a powerful military, everything's partially cool. But just remember, he's just an actor and he's just reading the lines. This is the same guy in 2013 who was beating the war for drums, saying we had to go in and bomb this threat and send in troops. Now, all of a sudden, years later, after heightened media headlines, he's playing the other side, saying, it's kind of overstated. It's all part of the ongoing mindfuck. We, the people, are just supposed to be in a state of confusion, a state of being lost, a state of not knowing what to think, and that's why they do us this way. Along the path, they also riddle in these headlines that remind us of things of the past. And where I want to go with this is last night in the State of the Union, Obama got one standing applause from the Republicans. That was when he talked about how great our military was. The rest of the night, they remained mum. In our nation, the Republicans and Democrats are two sides of the same coin. They play the American people against each other. Part of the continual divide that stays true to form with both parties is the Democrats often come across as, the weaklings who really aren't that invested in keeping us safe, while the Republicans play war hawk and, Mr. Tough Guy and get the headlines that make them seem more favorable in that way. That's how this is going to be spun with time, Obama, he didn't see the threat. He downplayed the threat. We didn't have the tough Republicans in there to take care of the threat. That's what it was with Jimmy Carter and the transition to Ronald Reagan, the actor. Oh man, it's embarrassing, Truth Seeker. The Masonic actor comes in and ends the 444-day Iranian hostage crisis. So this is what it's all about, Truth Seeker. It's why this story came out last night during the State of the Union. It's why it ends today, January 13th, 113. Fake narrative by the numbers. Fake political divide. It's all based on propaganda. Iran and the United States, they're in bed together. They're under the same Masonic order. Iran equals 42, just like Freemason equals 42. It's no coincidence. The Freemasons, they've controlled the world wars. They've carved up the Middle East. They've made the nations they want them. They've installed their puppet dictators. They've given them the media and given them the storylines to follow all these years. This is how the world is ruled. And the people who suffer are the people like you and I, the people under this tyranny, the people who get duped into going and fighting these wars and sacrificing our lives, losing our loved ones. I still remember being in high school in the late 90s. I graduated 2001, June of 2001, just months before 9/11. Back in the day before cell phones, used to come home every day, there'd be 10 voice recordings from all the military offices recruiting, every single day. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, Navy, Marines, Army, Air Force, every single day. I still remember when I finally went in there, the summer between my junior and senior year. Took some tests in their offices. All of them gave me the same rhetoric. Wow, you're smart. You can be anything you want in our branch. Sign up, sign up. It's the best time to join. There'll probably never be another war in your lifetime. Imagine if I'd taken that advice. I would have been doing tour after tour in Afghanistan and Iraq. Right after I graduated, 9/11 happened. You know? Fake headlines, fake narratives. This is what it is in the war empire, truth seeker. Go read that book, 1984. The nation that's always at war, but the people don't even know what they're fighting for. United States of America equals 84 in Gematria. It's no coincidence. That book starts on the date April 4th, 4-4. The word military equals 44. No coincidence. We live in a war empire. All we get are lies and propaganda, false story after false story. Let's close out by watching the news coverage. Let's compare the news coverage with the information I just gave you. Here we go, Truth Seeker. Before we do that, let's look at some of these headlines down here that are also related. John Kerry, a minute 23. The word conspiracy equals 123. This one, 104, a lot like 10-4, like message received. Numerology important to this nation. This nation established on a date with 104 numerology. How about the next one? A minute 37, 137, the 33rd prime number. Then Pelosi, 55 seconds. That's another topic. 55, the Satan number. Yeah, that goes well with Nancy Pelosi. My God. All right, let's watch this news coverage.
Video just into CNN. It's from the Iranian news agency, and it shows our American sailors being turned over to American authorities.
This is a photo opportunity. Oh my goodness.
Are the 10 Navy sailors whose boat drifted into Iranian waters, supposedly illegal waters.
The other point I want to make, Truth Seeker, is 10 has a gematria of 39. T's the 20th letter. E's the 5th, N's the 14th. 20 plus 5 plus 14 equals 39. Jimmy Carter was the 39th president. All part of the Masonic tribute by the numbers.
Iranians took them into custody and held them overnight for nearly a day. You can see the sailors sitting there, and you can see the Iranians, I would suppose, looking at these Americans' passports.
One note about the video you're seeing there, and again, as you say, sourced to Iranian TV, that appears to be the moment of capture when those sailors were there on their knees, as you see in the video, with their hands up or their hands behind their head. Really not a pretty picture to see. I mean, I talked to a lot of guys in the military.
Just listen to this shit. Not a pretty picture to see, but the cameraman was there to record it. Don't forget, cameraman has that gematria of 33.
And you can see from the expressions on those U.S. sailors' faces, they were not happy with the situation. From the very beginning, as you know, Carol, administration officials saying that there was nothing hostile about this act, no hostile intentions here. They believe that it was merely a mechanical issue. The boat had an issue. The Iranians came and detained them because they were in Iranian waters by accident, appears, not by intention.
And just ask yourself, what are the odds of this happening on the date that the president's giving the State of the Union, so that the headlines that night can be, "This situation overshadows State of the Union"? So contrived, so obvious. That typical narrative that the Republicans are the tough protectors and the Democrats are not. And it really is just a sheepish argument. When did 9/11 happen? That's right, when fuckface George W. Bush, the Republican, was in office. Wake up, people.
But I'll tell you, when you see sailors or soldiers with their hands behind their heads on their knees, it raises the question, how were they taken? What were the circumstances under which they were taken? We don't know yet. I have asked if they were taken at gunpoint, but those images certainly uncomfortable, I would say, to see.
Well, Colonel Francona, we saw those weapons being...
Let me ask you, do you feel uncomfortable looking at this image? This guy here staring at the camera. He's like, can I put my hands down yet? Are we done with the photo op? I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he's the one who can't follow directions. Just a bunch of bullshit here.
Laid out on the boat. Those, I assume, were from the American sailors. So how exactly would such a thing go down, generally speaking?
Okay, what happens if you drift into somebody's territorial waters? Normally, you're looking for assistance. We're not at war with Iran. You normally expect other seamen to come out and render assistance. This is what happens when they come into our waters. This happens more often than it is reported. You simply greet, see if you can render assistance, get them back into their own territorial waters. If they need medical assistance and navigational assistance, mechanical assistance, you do what you can on the high seas. What the Iranians did was a gross overreaction. Of course, this is the IRGC. They're very aggressive, and they're at odds with the moderates who are running the country. So this was more of a power play between the Iranians than it had to do with the Americans. But Jim is absolutely right. There was no reason for the Iranians to put those people on their knees with their hands behind their beds at gunpoint.
Oh God, it's just a photo op. They also showed us the picture of them feeding them. Saw them eating a nice meal, probably with food that's not purposefully poisoned like they'd be eating over here in the United States. So there it is, Truth Seeker. Another hoax by the numbers. The reason it was 10 is it's also a tribute to the Iranian hostage crisis. Jimmy Carter, the Democratic president, the one that's remembered as the weak one. But they remember the actor from Hollywood as the greatest thing ever. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.